Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel Indian Pharma Guide.
In our last video, we discussed about the qualitative methods of analysis of preservatives in food additives, and now I am going to explain you about the quantitative methods of analysis of preservatives in food additives. As we already discussed that quantitative methods of analysis of preservatives are divided into two types. One is the titrometric method and second one is the spectrophotometric methods. In this first one, titrometric method. Principle of titrometric method. So in this principle, the first step is benzoic acid is separated from a known quantity of the sample by saturating with the sodium chloride, then acidify with the diluted HCl and extracted with the chloroform. And in second step, the chloroform layer is made mineral acid free and the solvent is removed by the evaporation. And in final step, residue is dissolved in neutral alcohol and the amount of benzoic acid is determined by the titration against the standard alkali. In this PPT, chemical reaction is available for principle of titrometric methods in analysis of preservatives. If you want, you can write the chemical reaction and the matter of principle of titrometric methods in your exam. Reagents of chloroform, HCl, NaOH and standard NaOH solution. Next one, procedure. So in this procedure, preparation of sample. So beverages and liquid products preparation of sample is the first step is to mix the sample thoroughly and then transfer 100 grams of the sample in 250 ml of volumetric flask by using a saturated sodium chloride solution. And the next step, make the alkaline to litmus paper with 10% sodium hydroxide solution and then make up to volume with saturated sodium chloride solution. And third step, shake thoroughly and it stands for 2 hours. Then filter the sample and use the filtrate for the determination. Next one, preparation of sample of sauces and ketchups. In this first one, add 15 grams of the salt to 150 grams of the weighed sample and transfer it into a volumetric flask. And then second step, rinse with saturated sodium chloride solution and add 15 grams of pulverized sodium chloride and then add 10 ml of the 10% sodium hydroxide solution and finally make up to 500 ml volume with sodium chloride solution. And then third step, let it stand for 2 hours with the occasional shaking and finally filter the solution and use the filtrate for the determination. And next one, preparation of sample of jams, jellies, preservatives and marmalades. In this first step, mix 150 grams of the sample with 300 ml saturated sodium chloride solution and second step, add 15 grams of pulverized sodium chloride and then add 10 ml of the 10% sodium hydroxide solution. And then third step, transfer to 500 ml of volumetric flask and dilute to volume with saturated sodium chloride solution and finally let it stand for 2 hours with a frequent shaking and filter and use the filtrate for the determination. Next one, determination of already prepared samples. So first step, pipette out 100 to 200 ml of the filtrate into a separatory funnel, neutralize to litmus paper using HCl and add excess of 5 ml. And next one, extract carefully with 40, 30 and 20 ml portions of the chloroform and then avoid the formation of the emulsion by shaking gently with rotatory motion. So if emulsion forms, breaks it by stirring a chloroform solution with a glass rod after each extraction, but do not drain any of the emulsion with chloroform layer. And in next step, transfer the combined chloroform extract into a separatory funnel and wash it free for mineral acid by shaking gently and rinse with water and drain off the water phase and dry the chloroform layer over the anhydrous sodium sulfate and distill off the solvent. So finally remove the last traces of the solvent under a current of air at the room temperature and dry the residue overnight or until no residue of the acetic acid is detected if the product is a ketchup. So here some formula will be there to calculate the benzoic acid contents. So formula 122 into titer into dilution into 1000 into ml of the 0.05 N sodium hydroxide benzoic acid equal to weight of the sample into a liquid taken. Next one, spectrophotometric method in quantitative methods of analysis of preservatives. In this first one, principle. So here benzoic acid is extracted from a prepared sample by using a diethyl ether, and the absorbance of the ether layer is measured at 272 nanometers and 267.5 nanometers and 276.5 nanometers by using a UV reagent. From the corrected absorbance and the calibration curve obtained using a standard benzoic acid solution, the amount of benzoic acid is determined. Reagents of spectrophotometric methods. So first one, diethyl ether distilled and HCl and saturated sodium chloride solution and ammonium hydroxide in 0.1% and standard benzoic acid. In last PPT about the titrometric methods, we discussed the procedure, only the preparation of sample and the determination. But in spectrophotometric methods, we need to do the preparation of the standard curve and then preparation of the sample and finally the determination. In this first one, preparation of the standard curve. So in preparation of the standard curve, first prepare the solution of the benzoic acid in ether containing 50 mg and determine the absorbance of the solution in tightly stopped cell in Beckman DU or recording the spectrophotometer between 265 and 280 nanometers at 1 nanometer intervals, and plot the absorbance against the wavelength and record the wavelength of minimum at approximately 267.5 nanometers at point B and the other minimum at approximately 276.5 nanometers as a point D and the highest maximum at approximately 272 nanometers as point C. In next step, prepare the solution of the benzoic acid in ether containing 20, 40, 60, 80, 100 and 120 mg per liter and determine the absorbance of these solutions in a spectrophotometer at a already pointed B, C and D. For each concentration, average absorbance at band D subtract from absorbance at C. And finally, plot the difference against the concentration to get the standard curve. Next one, preparation of the sample. So first step, mix sample thoroughly, then transfer 10 grams or 10 ml to separator and dilute to 200 ml with saturated sodium chloride solution, and finally make the solution definitely acidic to litmus with HCl and mix it well. And final one, determination. So in this determination, first step, extract the prepared solution with 70, 50, 40 and 30 ml portions of the diethyl ether, then shake well to ensure the complete extraction. And in next one, drain and discard the aqueous phase and wash the combined ether extract with 40 and 30 ml portions by using a HCl and discard the HCl after the washing, and then extract ether solution with 50, 40, 30 and 20 ml portions of 0.1% ammonium hydroxide and discard the ether part, and then neutralize the combined ammonium hydroxide extracts with HCl and add 1 ml excess of HCl, and then extract the acidified solution with 70, 50, 40 and 30 ml ether, and then finally dilute the combined ether extracts to 200 ml with ether and determine the absorbance in stopped cell in spectrophotometer by using a wavelength B, C and D, and dilute with the ether if necessary to obtain the optimum concentration of 20 to 120 mg per liter. And finally, the average the absorbance at D and B, subtract this value from the absorbance C and determine the concentration of the benzoic acid from standard curve correcting for dilutions. Formula for benzoic acid determination is benzoic acid into 1.18 equal to sodium benzoate. And that's all about the quantitative methods, and in our next video we will discuss about the estimation of benzoic acid in the presence of saccharin in ready to serve beverages. Thanks for watching, and please do subscribe our channel for more videos.